Hey guys, Tarke here, and I'm back doing some more breakdowns of all the stuff we've missed while I've been away. I've already done one of these for quality of life and for the new skills. If you haven't seen those, check them out on my channel. Now we're going to start off talking about the Delve ladder. This was a very big part of the last Bay class, and there's some slight confusion. The first 5 times I read this, I didn't understand it because I'm tired and rather dim. But also chat kind of seems to be arguing one of two things. So very TLDR. People wanted in the trade leagues for there to be multiple ladders. So, for example, like a solo ladder, and then maybe like a duo ladder, and then like a full group size ladder. Now, originally, GGG wasn't planning on doing a solo ladder in trade league because it'd be easy to do carries. Since there's been feedback wanting that, they've added this kind of workaround. So, I might need to explain this multiple times. When you invite party members into your mine, your progress on the solo ladder will be disabled temporarily, okay? In order for you to resume scoring your solo delves, you have to make depth progress on some number, currently they're thinking 10, of delves with no party members. So as far as I understand this, if I was to, for example, group up with Grimro in Trade League, and we cleared up to delve 50, and I've got 50 there, bump, locked on. For me to then get the solo score for that, I would either have to solo up to delve 50 10 times, or some people in chat are saying I'd have to score up to delve 60. Now that one seems a bit odd, having to score higher solo than you can in a group. That makes no sense to me. If that is the case, that seems a bit backwards, because surely you should always be able to progress deeper in a group than you can solo. A lot of people seem a bit confused by the progress thing. I think it's just you have to do 10. It's both, by the way. 10 lateral delves at 50 scores your solo ladder of 50, or you get 60 delve down to level 60. Yeah, anyway. The fact that there is some confusion on this, when there's a few hundred people watching trying to explain this to me and me reading this multiple times, implies one of two things. One, I'm stupid, but I already knew that. Two, this doesn't seem like a very elegant solution. Any solution which isn't instantly understandable when explained doesn't seem like a good solution. It could just be it's a very clean solution, it was just poorly worded, or me jet lagged from my 1-hour flight, it's a thing, is just struggling to understand it. But yeah, there will be some form of solo ladder. That is good. I would personally like it if there was a duo ladder in there as well. There was more breakdowns within just solo and group ladder. But it's something. I'll be playing SSF, so all of this is irrelevant to me. It doesn't matter that I don't understand it, because SSF don't need any friends. Easy game there. Now, let's talk about the changes to Zana and the Atlas. Carve has a very informative, slightly long 25-minute video on this. I highly recommend watching Carve's video if you want to fully understand this. I'm going to give a very short summary. Basically, they've expanded the Zana questline, which will now give you further map rewards whenever you go through it. This will make SSF map progression much nicer. It will make people playing Trade League but not buying on the maps make their early progression a lot nicer. So this is huge for new players as well, making the Zana questline just feel a bit smoother. Brilliant. And they've added this new thing called Shaper's Strongholds. Strongholds will have a special marker on the Atlas. Once they're on there, they're locked in there. It's not like with Elder and Shaper, they like to go walkabout. It's there until you clear it. You clear it, it goes away, and then it comes back later. When you clear a stronghold, you will be given chisels, sextants, and unique items, including ones that would normally be restricted to League. So you can get old League items. I love that bit in particular. They did that. It's a reoccurring theme. They keep trying to bring back old uniques. I love it. We have it through div cards. We had it in Incursion League. Incursion's going core. Next League, not this one. Not this one coming. It's coming core Christmas time. We're getting it again through here. We're getting it through Delve. I love it. The more access we have to old items, the better, in my personal opinion. And if you want to know the finer workings, go watch Carve's video. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So, from that, now let's talk about the Delve rewards themselves and some of the new uniques you can expect to see in Delve League. these are pretty nice rewards. Now, there's a few things going on here. We have a canary pet. For anyone in the know, this is very secret insider information. Canaries were used by miners. That's it. I think it's cool. It's cute. I like it. The Azurite back attachment is pretty beautiful. It's like an upgraded essence back attachment. And the portal is just fucking cream. Now, I'll talk about this a lot because of hideouts. I think there's a really cool thing you could do with building a full, like, mine-styled hideout. Putting lots of, like, wood and stuff on the floor. It will just aesthetically seem beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love the theming. I think it looks clean. I like the little canary boy. The wings look really cool. I think the wings look really, really cool. However, then there's a slight however. They move. They have an animation. Because they have an animation, I might not like it. A lot of the wings in PoE I don't like because when you move, they look really stiff and cardboardy. And oftentimes when there's like an animation, it can like bug out and stuff when it walks. So if you kind of see it here, looks cool while stationary, looks clean, looks crisp. But then when he walks, the animation sort of stops and leaves like this traily liquid azurite behind. Kind of cool. I don't know. I think it looks cool. I'm sure loads of people love to use it. I'm going to personally go for it. I think it looks fucking awesome. It's just wings in PoE can be a bit iffy when you move. But yeah, the portal is fucking beautiful. And I always say like, oh, well, the last portal I really loved was the Bestiary portal. This blows the Bestiary portal way out of the water. I think this one's fucking beautiful. And I can't wait for some of the more creative hideout boys like Derek to really come up with some cool mind-themed hideouts. I think it's cool. And the canary's cute. A little sad that we won't be able to get 2 canaries. But, you know, you don't really want to be taking 2 canaries into the mines. Because that's just, at that point, you're just killing 2 canaries. You know, 2 canaries, 1 mine. It's just unethical. So, with that, let's talk about some of the uniques, which are very ethical. Mark of Submission. Unset Ring requires level 24. Curse enemies with Socketed Curse Gem on hit. You're like, but Tarke, this is shit. It's actually pretty decent. You're getting a curse on hit lower than you normally would. The support gem is 38, I believe. And yeah, that's pretty good. Getting it early is nice. There is already Asenath's Chant, which is a very strong leveling item. This is another option there. This could maybe see some use on some crazy curse on hit support. They might maybe rework curses. We don't know. They've said they want to rework curses at some point. So until they eventually do that, this might seem more or less powerful. It'll be good for low-level PvP. And it might be a decent leveling item. Yeah. Another thing to consider, there might be some cool upgrades we could do with this ring. You never know. But it's okay. It's not as bad or as useless as people say. I think it's decent, and I think it's good to have, you know, just kind of powerful but not completely broken leveling items. So for that, I like it. Now, we have some new Fated uniques here. Now, the Chabakan Great Mallet. +1 to level of socketed melee gems, +2 to level of socketed minion gems. Well, we have some minion melee gems, like Down Below. So this is very good for Down Below. Has some fizz damage, some increased maximum mana. Minions have increased maximum life, and increased skill effect duration. I don't know how important it is for your dominated minions to have increased maximum life. Obviously, when you dominate something, you want it to take a real beating. So having extra life is good in that sense. But, yeah, I don't know. It's obviously good for that particular build, but I'm not sure how good it is. I don't know if it would be better if it had just, like, a bunch of damage. Obviously, the skill effect duration is powerful, and the fact that that is the main thing you want there when it comes to scaling your duration-based minions. But I feel like it could have a little bit of extra sauce. Maybe, like, instead of the minions have life, it was minions have damage, or damage based on life would be cool, or more life, just make it, like, super powerful for the defensive stuff, or speed. But, yeah, it's good for that particular thing. Yeah. Joffrey's Legacy Great Crown. +1 to gems, has all the resistance, that's what the base Joffrey's crest does. +1 to maximum number of summoned holy relics. Summoned holy relics have reduced cooldown recovery speed. As far as I'm aware, we don't know what holy relics are. Cooldown recovery speed is always broken. So if holy relics are decent, then this is probably decent. It's a helmet. Well, duh. But helmets are notoriously powerful. When it comes to summoner builds, there's the plus levels. So this has less than you could normally get on just like a rare, for example. There are very powerful Elder and Shaper mods. So the fact this is a helm is a slight But maybe if holy relics are super OP and this is the only way to make them really good, could be something. But it is a helmet, so it does compete with some of the strongest traditional minion sockets. So that makes it feel slightly kind of eh. And then obviously it has, you know, very low energy shield, and helms are a very good ES spot for CI or hybrid based builds. So you probably want to use this on a life based summoner, as most summoners are, but worth to consider. Now, here we have some pretty cool new crafting things coming in Delve. In the whole, we can now add Abyssal sockets to rares. It's pretty good. Abyssal Jewels are slightly okay. I'm not sure if anyone's aware, but stacking a bunch of elemental Abyssal Jewels on, I don't know, KB. KB might be enough, but Piscator, whatever. It's pretty good. This is a pretty good thing for some builds. It's very strong for attack-based builds. It's very strong for summoners. Summoners do a lot of work with Abyssal sockets. Spellcasters, not so much. So this is slightly okay for elemental builds and summoners. And as we all know, elemental builds and summoners are only slightly okay anyway. So this definitely won't be worth lots of mums, and definitely isn't going to be insane power creep. No, should be good. Should be good. Should be perfectly balanced, as all things are. Yeah. Here we have a staff. Seems good. Trigger level 20 summon Phantasmal when you consume a corpse. Summon Phantasm is a support gem currently. It's decent. I know some people use it on their specters. It looks kind of cool. I like the head. I think the shaft is a bit green. I'm generally not a fan of green shafts, but you know, it's got a good like girth to it. You currently consume corpses on detonate skills. So if we were talking about detonate dead, cremation, volatile dead, and then the offering-based skills, there could be some new ways to consume corpses. There are the Abyssal Boots, which consume corpses when you walk over them. That could be pretty cool. You shove those into a, you know, a summoner, and as you're running across the corpses, you're summoning a bunch of phantasms. If you want to completely automate stuff. Really good with the new instant cast phase run, instant cast convocation on the line of summoner stuff. Has a lot of spell damage. The 140% spell damage and the 26% cast speed seems good for like detonate dead, volatile dead stuff, but I'm not really sure how you'll then work summon Phantasm into that unless there's further supports coming out, maybe some cool new Guardian stuff that we're not aware of yet. The mana regen is nice for like mind over matter shenanigans, or just having enough that you can like, you know, spam cast Skellies, maybe Dark Pact, something. Minions deal 45 to 66 additional fizz. That's a lot of additional fizz. And then if you consumed a corpse recently, you and nearby allies regenerate 5% of your maximum life per second. Really strong. It has a lot of cool things on there. It's a bit of a conflicted item, but I think there's some cool shit there. I think you could do some cool things there. That is a lot of flat fizz. Having 5% regen on consuming corpse is good. Having summon Phantasm on kill when consuming corpse is good. Has inbuilt synergy. Summoners naturally want to consume corpses. There are spellcasters, Volatile Dead, Detonate Dead, Cremation, which want to consume corpses. So there's like two different archetypes which could use this item in some sense. it might be a thing. If staff movement feels muy buen with the buff phase run and maybe some new things coming to staffs we're not aware of, maybe it'll be a thing. Maybe it'll be a thing. Demon Stitcher Satin Gloves. These are interesting. So they have, you know, an okay-ish, albeit kind of low ES base, but it's just a decent enough once you quality it up. And we don't know how high this goes. Maybe it's probably like, you know, 50 to 70 or 60 to 80. There's usually that's the kind of range. So this could be like a decent pair of ES gloves, you know, 140-ish. Give or maybe, let's say 150 once you've put some quality on them. Could be decent. They have some life. They have cast speed. Good. And then sacrifice 5% of your maximum life to gain that much energy shield when you cast a spell. This is potential. It is interesting for Eldritch Battery stuff. It is interesting for hybrid stuff. There are always new items coming out which make people kind of want to think about the idea of doing stuff with EB or hybrid. And if you keep making enough items which do cool hybrid-y things or Eldritch Battery things, it could become a thing. Obviously, you're not going to shove them into every build. You're only going to put this into a very niche build, but it does a unique effect which currently isn't used up by something else. So because of that, I have to like it. It has a set theme. It has life. It has energy shield. It has cast speed. It's a pair of gloves, so I guess that's a slight nerf to the Essence of Insanity memes. But, I mean, it's pretty good. It looks pretty good. You could say, would you want to use this or Tomb Fist? Usually you'd use Tomb Fist in a completely different kind of build. That's usually an attack-based build. This seems more like something you'd use in a spellcaster build. Abyssal sockets aren't that strong for spellcasters. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to be insane. Obviously, Sedemas are gloves, but we don't know where MF is going. I think the fact that this like opens up a unique mechanic, and PoEs used to be all about unique mechanics, and they're clearly trying to like go back to more interesting than just raw like power items. Well, we'll pretend that's an interesting item, not raw power. It could maybe be cool. Maybe. It's maybe a thing. Now, the Doriani's Delusion. There's a new Doriani's unique map. I will assume there'll be a pair of these boots for each respective element, but grant level 25 Purity of Fire. That's a very high level Purity of Fire. Adds flat fire damage to spells and attacks. Increased armor. Increased maximum life. Decent amount. And 30% increased movement speed. Now, this obviously looks good for RF until you read the adds flat damage, ruining EE. That being said, you have to keep in mind that GG stated they want to rework EE. So if they're reworking EE, then this might actually be good for Righteous Fire. We don't know. In terms of it just being a pair of boots for like non-Righteous Fire memes, then, you know, let's say that life probably goes up to, again, 70 or 80. That's a decent amount of life, with good movement speed, and, you know, a good amount of flat damage. Flat damage is always good. And the level 25 Purity Fire is strong. A lot of builds love to just shove purities in there. And also, if you could use, you know, support gems linked into it, like Enlighten or whatever, onto that purity, or Empower in the boots to affect that, you know, it could be potentially very strong. I think these are good. I think these are good, and the whole EE thing, we don't know what's going on with EE. They said they want to rework it, and a lot of Delve is going to be about coming up with a really cheesy defense. So the fact these give a high-level purity, you know, what cheesier defense is there than getting 100% max res? I don't know, I think these are strong. And the fact that you can have these for every single element type, one would assume, since the way the Dorian map works, I think it's very nice to have that. And, you know, you keep in mind you have that random Watcher's Eye, which give you some kind of buff based on a purity. Get that Watcher's Eye, get the boots to match, and muy buen. Muy buen. And Crown of the Tyrant. Woohoo. Has a socket. One socket. We don't know if that rolls different amounts for different boots, but, sorry, different amounts of different helms. plus 95 life is a decent amount of life. You can have a lot of life on a helmet, but, you know, that's a decent amount. Nearby enemies have minus 10 to all res. That's very strong. You and nearby allies have 94 to 96 flat fire per red. That's obviously a lot. You and nearby a bunch of flat cold per green. You and nearby allies have a bunch of flat lightning. So that's good. You and nearby allies have a bunch of flat chaos. So you have a helmet which makes enemies lose res and buffs you and all your nearby allies with a bunch of flat elemental or chaos damage. That's really good. Now, assuming you can only have one socket, you'll only get one of these. That's good. You could shove this on supports. You could shove this onto, you know, some dominating blow Herald of Purity stuff. You could shove it on an Animate Guardian. Yeah, you could shove it on Summoners. This is pretty good. Summoners will probably just want to shove this on Animate Guardians. And supports will just shove it on supports. I know, I think this is really powerful. Also, even for, like, just some, like, a Tempest build, for example, which just wants a bunch of flat lightning, that's a lot of flat lightning to get in a helm slot. You know, you might just have some raw attack builds using this. And the nearby enemies have reduced to all res. That's not Ellie res. This will reduce chaos res as well. So that's pretty fucking nutty. That could be very good for Volcor builds, poison, you know. It's a good helm. It's a lot of damage, has life. Depending on how, like, readily available this is, this could be a very nice, like, starter helmet for most builds. Like, you could use this in so many attack or spellcast builds. You could use it in summoner builds. So if this was, like, readily available-ish, like, let's just say this was, like, a 10 to 20C helmet, shall we say, right? So it's, like, you know, still has a bit of a cost because it's powerful, but it's kind of, you know, readily available. Because it has use on so many different builds, you could use this on, like, any build as, like, a start helmet until you get your stupidly overpowered Elder Shaper thing. I think this is cool. I think this is a really cool item. And probably my favorite item of everything in there. I'm also really curious, really curious to see if this stacks. Like, if you could have, you know, multiple different types. Now, obviously, the max res, you'd only get one application. But do we know if the fire and cold, since do they count as being one buff or two separate buffs? Interesting. Some people are saying, well, it's still just less damage than a Abyssal Jewel. Yeah, if you had a 2-socket Tomb Fist with perfect Abyssal Jewels, sure, but a lot of people don't have access to perfect Abyssal Jewels early on. So that's why I say, like, this could be a very good budget item. And the minus res is powerful, and especially since you can add this to groups, this is more powerful to a group than a Tomb Fist. Not Tomb Fist, whatever the hat is called. It's not Tomb Fist, the fake EK hat. Someone in the chat will say it, but yeah. Light Poacher, so that's the one. Light Poacher. I think it's good. I think it's probably my favorite one. So to briefly summarize, this seems really good. This seems very good as well. This has potential for some memes. Memes are always good. Yeah, it's interesting. OP. Maybe. And kind of cool. So, to be honest, all of these seem pretty good. The fact that none of them I'm just like, that's terrible, is a really good sign. A little bit disappointed by the whole ladder thing being a bit convoluted for people who aren't very intelligent, so basically for me. But Delve is looking very promising. Delve is looking very promising. Now, we'll be getting a lot more Delve news leading up to the launch. Getting the patch notes will be very exciting. I'm looking forward to getting some juice on my hands. I'm personally really hoping for buffs to Shock and Ice Nova. Please, explosive arrow buffs. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.